Welcome to this explainer. Today we're going to uncover a hidden filter tucked right up under your ribs. You know, your spleen is literally only about the size of your fist, but it filters gallons of blood every single day. Crazy, right? Most of us are totally focused on our heart or our lungs when we think about staying healthy, but we completely ignore this silent security guard of our blood. So today we're going to show you exactly how your internal blood warehouse might actually be a massive bottleneck for your vitality, and much more importantly, how we're going to fix it.
So tell me if this sounds familiar. Have you ever wondered why you barely bump against the table and suddenly you've got this massive, angry bruise that just seems to stick around for weeks? If you're feeling chronically run down or you're noticing this kind of easy bruising, well, your body's internal security guard might be completely overwhelmed. A lot of people think, oh, I'm just getting older or I'm just naturally clumsy, but actually, there's a distinct mechanical breakdown happening right beneath the surface that you absolutely need to be aware of.
Think about the support structure of your skin. That delicate paper skin texture and that easy bruising, it's not just an inevitable sign of aging. This happens when your blood warehouse, the spleen, starts malfunctioning. Instead of acting as a healthy, balanced reserve, an overwhelmed spleen kind of panics. It starts hoarding the very platelets you desperately need out in your circulation to patch up fragile blood vessels and capillaries.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for the explainer today. First, we'll cover the paper skin problem. Second, we'll go inside the blood warehouse. Third, we'll diagnose the internal traffic jam. Fourth, activating the clean cycle. And fifth, building your iron shield. Basically, we're going to diagnose the mechanical breakdown causing these issues and then walk through an exact three-step protocol to reactivate your filtration system.
All right, moving to section 2, inside the blood warehouse, the quality control manager. To really grasp the spleen strategy, we've got to stop looking at our organs as isolated little parts. Instead, think of your body as this high-stakes logistics network. Your liver, that's the manufacturing factory. And your spleen, it's the quality control manager, the guy on the floor tasked with filtering out old red blood cells and managing your emergency reserves.
That brings us to section 3, the internal traffic jam, when the factory clogs. You know, the modern health industry completely ignores a really critical mechanism here. When your liver factory gets all clogged up with fat or scarred by biliary sludge, the main blood pipe trying to deliver resources hits an absolute wall. The pipeline basically shuts down, and the blood just cannot get through the factory efficiently. So the root of the problem is this exact mechanical failure, which is called portal hypertension. This blockage creates a dangerous backpressure. It's literally an internal traffic jam caused by liver congestion. And because the blood can't go forward through the liver, guess what? It's forced to back up into the spleen. This severely disrupts your entire logistics network and puts just an immense strain on your biology.
And the real-world consequence of that backflow is pretty intense. As blood is forced backward, the spleen swells up like an overinflated tire. In this swollen state, it hoards those platelets we talked about and actually begins leaking plasma into your abdominal cavity. This creates that stiff, hard drum belly sensation. If you've ever seen someone with thin arms and legs but a pressurized, rigid stomach, well, that isn't just fat. It's a massive signal of hepatic stress and fluid retention. Let's zoom out a bit and see what this does systemically. In this swollen, backed-up state, your white blood cell training camp is basically under siege by toxins, pollutants, and chronic stress. It leads to a sluggish filter and a real decline in your immunity. But the good news is, by addressing the root cause, we can totally transform this sluggish filter back into an optimized powerhouse. We can turn your immune system back into a highly effective defender.
Which leads us perfectly to the solution. Section 4, the protocol, fixing the filter. Look, we are not going to rely on generic over-the-counter immune booster pills to fix a mechanical pressure problem. That makes no sense. Instead, we're going to use biochemistry and biological rhythm to execute a really precise, targeted protocol to clear out this traffic jam. The spleen strategy is built on 3 actionable pillars designed to scrub your arteries clean and restore your biological fortress. Step 1 is the aerobic catalyst. Step 2 is the clean cycle. And step 3 is the iron shield. Let's break them down. First up, the aerobic catalyst. This is all about leveraging simple, consistent walking to act as a secondary pump for your lymphatic system. You see, unlike your cardiovascular system, which has your heart constantly pumping, your lymphatic system doesn't have a central pump. It relies entirely on your body moving. And no, you don't need to run marathons. Just gentle, consistent movement forces oxygen-rich blood through your body's filters.
It promotes healthy circulation without triggering that massive cortisol spike you get from extreme cardio, which honestly would only stress your system out further right now.
Next, we have activating the clean cycle, taking out the trash. Once we've got the blood moving nicely, we have to fix the internal plumbing. We do this by shifting your system away from a bloated storage mode and switching it straight into a deep cleaning burn mode.
By committing to a 16-hour fasting window, you trigger an amazing biological process called autophagy. This allows your cells to literally take out the trash. They start recycling damaged proteins and clearing out that murky internal sludge, sometimes referred to as dampness in the body, that is basically gumming up your digestive fire and your vital filters.
Finally, we reach our last step, building your iron shield, defense and nutrition. To make absolutely sure that sludge never returns and to lock in all this great progress, you have to build a powerful chemical barrier to protect the liver-spleen axis from future damage.
You have got to stop the flow of damage right at the source. This means strictly eliminating high fructose corn syrup. Seriously, it acts like a solvent on your delicate cell membranes. Kick it out. Instead, flood your body with cruciferous vegetables to provide essential antioxidants. And great news for a lot of you, consume what we call the black nectar, black coffee. Research strongly points to black coffee as a fantastic way to dampen internal inflammation.
So this holistic 3-step spleen strategy really ties everything together. By optimizing your immune nutrients to nourish the shield, supporting efficient blood filtration, and prioritizing restorative rest to reduce systemic stress, you're creating a literal biological master plan to reclaim your energy and your health.
Now that you have the mechanical diagnosis and the biochemical formula, I want to leave you with a direct challenge. You can choose to just let the rust take over, or you can stand up and take back your biology. Are you going to keep treating symptoms with Band-Aids, or are you finally ready to fix the filter that keeps you alive? The choice is entirely yours. Keep learning, keep moving, and we will see you next time.